Johnson did not follow up.
You know, it's funny. If
Mack, I should say, it's lucky that Mack did not follow up on Johnson.
If I had $1 for every time you've said, why not put a left hook right hand behind that punch right there? Well, if he did right there, and the way, and you saw the posture of Glenn Johnson, that could have been a disaster for Glenn Johnson. He heard the clap thinking it was the bell at the end of round number 1. So here we are, round 2 in this IBF light heavyweight title eliminator. Ring Magazine top 10 fighters meeting up here for a chance to get after the IBF belt down the road against Tavoris Cloud.
Again, both these fighters, they move their head. Johnson, for defensive purposes, does a little more blocking. Moves those arms, picks those hands up a little in the block. Sometimes leaves the body open, Joe, when he does that. But when they both move their heads, look for them to lay on the right side a little bit. Look for them to sort of favor that right side. There's a good right hand by Mack.
Very sharp right hand on the inside, but look at that. Glenn Johnson doubling up that jab and just walking straight into him now. Good fight early on here.
What I like so far from Mack is that he knows he can do good work on the outside, but he wants to have Johnson's respect on the inside, so he picks spots to fight on the inside to get that respect. The only thing that Mack has to be careful for, he doesn't stay there too long, because that's still Johnson. Whether he's 41 or 21, that's still his territory.
I'll tell you, Mack seems like a completely different fighter than the version we saw at 168 pounds. He's improved through the years.
Well, his confidence is much greater now, too.
It is.
You can just see that.
He feels stronger, and he fights like a stronger man now. A right hand from Johnson that Mack was able to roll to the side with, and then came back. But both men able to score here in round number 2.
I don't know if it's the youth that I'm seeing, Mack being 10 years younger, or if he's just faster anyway, but Mack is quicker with his hands.
More work on the inside. Just missed with that right hand. Came back with a left, did Mack. Doubles up the right hand and gets back out to the center of the ring. And Johnson quick to go right back to the inside. Both men landing right hands.
Both guys, when they move their head, Joe, I'm going to say it again, they lay on the right. And when you lay on the right, you can be vulnerable for that punch, a right hand.
Coming to the end of round number 2. Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas with you ringside as Glenn Johnson, the former light heavyweight world champion, former fighter of the year, looking for one more chance to get to the top here in a IBF title eliminator at 175 pounds against Yusaf Mack. Talking about getting back to the top. Orlando and Boston in the NBA coming up Sunday on ABC at 2 o'clock Eastern. Coverage begins with GMC NBA Countdown. Veterans looking for a world championship. The Celtics team, much like Glenn Johnson, looking to get back where he once was.
You know, Mack has talked on more than one occasion about he doesn't feel that he gets his due. He's not respected enough by the industry, the people in the industry. And I'll tell you this much, that 41 years of age or not, if Mack wins this fight, well, I'll be impressed, and I'll be a believer that he's for real, and he's somebody to deal with in a very real way in this division. Because Johnson is still a guy that tests you before the night is over.
Both Ring Magazine and Dan Raphael's ESPN.com rankings have Yusaf Mack at number 7, but he did make the comment, hey, I'm the kind of guy that when I get a good win like this against Glenn Johnson, they'll say, yeah, but Glenn Johnson, 41 years old. Well, Glenn Johnson's still very well skilled.
Well, right now, it's not the body of Mack that's only working. It's the mind, the brain of him. He understands where he has the advantages. He's a younger guy. He should be quick on the outside, and he's trying to do the work on the outside. And like I said earlier, he picks spots on the inside. He just has to be careful those spots aren't too large. I see a difference in this round. A little change. Mark this round down. Johnson starting to get his rhythm, and the pressure starting to attack Mack, starting to dig into Mack a little bit.
First 2 rounds were highly competitive with perhaps a slight edge towards Yusaf Mack. This a 12-round fight. Short right hand.
It's going to come down to how does Mack deal with the pressure of Johnson.
Well, he's applying plenty of it right here in this final minute of round 3. Was able to shoulder roll that right hand and came back with a counter punch. Double jab by Johnson. Right uppercut missed from Mack.
See, right there in that spot when they were in close, Johnson, the former light heavyweight champ, he didn't serve himself. When he gets inside, he needs to work on the inside.
Mack and Johnson coming to the end of round number 3 here in Davie, Florida. Stay with us.
Some action from the last round. Johnson starting to come on. Pressing behind that jab to clear the way a little bit. Getting some work done on the inside. For the most part, I thought Johnson carried that round.
5.5 years removed from his brutal knockout victory over Roy Jones Jr. is Glenn Johnson, but trying to bounce back after recently losing to the top light heavyweight in the world, Chad Dawson. Body shot from Mack here in the early goings of round number 4. Let's look at Teddy's scorecard. First 2 rounds, good competition from both guys. First 2 rounds went to Mack, last round went to Johnson.
Well, Johnson, like I said, the last round, putting the pedal to the metal. And we're going to see whether or not Mack truly is for real, if he can handle this pressure.
Toe-to-toe they go here in the near corner. Look at this.
Now, I know that Mack is behaving like a fighter and trying to get the respect of Johnson, but I think he's staying in the wrong place. Bad geography for Mack. Doesn't need to be in close with Johnson, who makes a living in close.
And you never thought Mack would want to be there, but we told you he gained confidence. Looks like a stronger guy at 175 pounds, but this is where Glenn Johnson wants you all day long, right in front of him.
And don't forget those body shots that have been coming the last couple rounds from Mack. Or from Johnson, I should say, in the white trunks. Those body shots, they pay their dividends. They start to slow a fighter down and maybe force a fighter to fight in a place he doesn't want to fight, in close. They take the will away to move. They take some of the air away to be able to move. I think it's very important for Johnson, every time he gets close to work. Every once in a while, they get close, and he kind of lets Mack off the hook a little bit. He needs to make Mack pay a price in these early rounds.
There's an example of the last 25 seconds and a couple of sweeping right hands from Mack.
See, by not working inside early on, Johnson's allowing Mack now to have his moment.
Final 30 seconds. Been a back and forth 4th round.
You know, good right hands again from Mack. Johnson likes to lay that head over on the right, and he's catching those right hands. He's eating them in spots. John, you know, Joe, I still think that it's really very imperative for Johnson to do more in the early rounds, because being 41, who knows what he's going to have left later. Mack might have something left a little more. Take a look at the action from the last round. Early on, Johnson having his way, working in, doing the real work there. But then later on, as the round went, moments. And I think enough of a moment to steal the round on my scorecard.
Yeah, tough round to score with the way that it went, but Mack getting the best of it in that final minute. When he returned to the corner after that 4th round, Yusaf Mack heard from his trainer, John Tandy, and Tandy was quick to point out, hey, we are not here to have a war on the inside. You need to save that for later. Get to the outside and box, and when you can, go to the body.
Well, I don't know why he chose to do it now, but Mack has chosen to pull something out of the bag of tricks. He turned southpaw for the first 30 seconds of that round, or the first 20-something seconds of this round, and now he's back to orthodox.
Yeah, freestyling for a moment here is Mack. Let's look at the CompuBox statistics and the power punches through 4 rounds. Really strong numbers as Mack has thrown 133, Johnson 110, both landing 30%.
Again, Johnson, so I see his age a little bit, and no way being derogatory, but I tell you where I see his age. You look at his body, you don't see he's in great shape. And for the most part, you don't see it. The way I see it is a little lack of that consistency, where Johnson used to get on you like a cheap suit.
And he stayed in that mode.
Yeah,
he never came out of that gear.
No, and he stayed on you. You're right. And now